have a new month, a new edition of Diasporas in Business. Today, at Diasporas in Business, I have a special guest. Why special? Because she have a great story behind, who inspired you, who the journey is full of courage and powerful story. You will see. Today with me is Teresa Lee. Welcome, Teresa Lee, at Diasporas in Business.
Hi, Gabby. Thanks for having me.
Teresa, you are a passionate business entrepreneur, and you are mother, very young mother,
New mother.
yeah, and also a proud author of your book, Action Taker.
Yes.
How you manage to create this wisdom book with a baby?
Well, I actually wrote the book before she arrived. The book actually got published a few days before she arrived. So
This was
it's
your gift.
now it is a gift. It is a gift. It took me over 2 years to write the book. It's actually, the book is great. It gives me time to reflect on things. I started writing the book while I was still running the restaurants. It was a very busy lifestyle, like restaurant business is like quite demanding. And then when I actually look into the research to expand the business, that's when Brexit came in. And then there's so many different factors that I look into it. I'm like, okay, I need to perhaps I want to start a family as well. That's when I took a step back. And so writing this, for that few years off after the restaurants, I actually sit down, digest everything in, and I get to write the book. And it's all by it. I wouldn't say luck, because I planned for this.
Yes.
Sometimes we will say, "Oh, you're so lucky to have this and this," but luck is when everything comes together and when the plan comes true. Yes, so the book actually, I actually got the physical book just a few days before she arrived, and hopefully when she get to read my book and understand my stories and the teaching and the wisdom. I'm passing it on to her.
Teresa, you believe life is a great experience and you need to really enjoy every step. Who is Teresa Lee beyond my small presentation?
Yeah, well, I'm generally a very adventurous person. I like to do a lot of different things that make me full of excitement, including adrenaline sports. But I live away from my family from a very young age, and that actually taught me to be very independent as well. So I was born in Vietnam. And then I left the country at the age of 7 as a boat refugee.
Wow.
So I spent 3 days, 3 nights at sea without my parents or my family around. And then I grew up in Australia. My uncle and auntie sort of take me in, look after me. They're like my foster parents. And so I grew up in Australia, did my university, their education there. And after a number of years in a great job, I've decided to come to London on my own without knowing anybody at all. So that is, you can see that's my sense of adventure, not just in the day-to-day sport and stuff, but that's how I view life as well. To me, life is an experience, and I want to experience as much as I can, whether it's fun, whether it's challenging business. It's just, I like to do a lot of different things.
You live in Sydney.
Yeah.
You come here in London. New life. Only you. You left a corporation career. You start a business.
Yes.
From where coming this kind of power to run for success?
I don't know, people ask me, there's people always ask these questions. Mm-hmm. Is an entrepreneur born or bred? Yes.
Yes.
And to me, I always believe that an entrepreneur is like a leader. And to me, a leader is always born. We all have that quality inside of us, and whether we want to activate that and do something, more than just have that thirst for success, that thirst for new knowledge even. Well, for me, from a very young age, I always knew that I wanted to have my own business. And when I first finished university with a business degree, I worked for IBM and for big company, and I worked for a lot of big company as well. But every single time I look at my manager and I see that they're working so hard, they even have to take conference call while they're on a holiday. And I thought, is this the life I want? You know, like it's I want to have that flexibility. I want to be able to have one day have my own family. Like now I have my beautiful little girl, and I have the flexibility to work at my own terms. So from a very young age, I have this idea that I want to be my own boss. I want to make my own call for my own life, and being able to build some legacy to leave behind for my kids or for the next generation, and just do something with myself. I guess you can say that I can look at my dad, and my dad always been doing a lot of different things, and I like that. And of course that in my DNA I have this adventurous gift, or you know, like the DNA given to me by my parents, and I always have that wonder for the world, you know, always explore what's out there, what's new. So I always embrace like different challenges just to tap into that next adventure and the next adventure. So that's why, you know, if I left a very comfortable work environment, family in Australia, packed my bag, came to London, didn't even know anyone, didn't have a job. I was scared. Of course, I was scared.
Yes, everyone is scared when you start.
And of course, you know, you yourself moving to a new country, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I start over, like from a young age, left my home, my family, my home in Vietnam. That's one. And then came to London, just like another start over. So it's nowadays like people go, oh, you like so courageous. I'm like, no, I'm just curious, and I just want to do a lot of different things just to make me happy.
Try to describe yourself in 3 words, if it's possible.
Oh, 3 words! Wow. Well, I would have to say that I am adventurous. I can be quite creative in looking for a new way, looking at problem solution from different angles, and I can also quite resourceful. I like to being able to look at something and make something out of it. So adventurous, resourceful, and creative.
All 3 ingredients for a successful entrepreneurial life. But from where coming this spirit of entrepreneurial? You have a family, or you are the only one in entrepreneurship? From where coming this spirit?
You know what? I don't know. That's why I say I could be in my DNA. My dad did try to have a few different ventures in his life, but in terms of starting a business, I'm the first in my family. When I told my family that I want to quit my job in corporate, in IT.
You lose your mind.
And start a restaurant. And I have no restaurant experience whatsoever. My family go, are you mad? Are you out of your mind? You know, you spend all this time, finish your degree, you build up all this different experience. Why throw all that away and start your own business? It's very risky.
And especially in this area of restaurants, you don't know nothing.
Yes,
I
didn't know anything about restaurants. But then I thought, you know what, I always want to start a business. And I asked myself, what am I good at? I say, I've been cooking from a very young age. I cook for my family while my uncle and auntie at work.
My next question.
Yes,
I
love cooking. So I asked myself, what am I good at? I say, food. That's my passion. That's what I'm good at. So I started a restaurant, and I go into partnership with my business partner who have a lot more experience in the restaurant business. And then I actually go into the kitchen because I start a Vietnamese restaurant and he's not Vietnamese. So it's up to me. From working from a laptop, phone, email, I go into the kitchen, putting on an apron, a chef jacket, holding a knife, cooking for 100 hours plus a week. It was completely different experience. But looking back, I think it's all worth it. And I really enjoy the whole experience. And so that, I think from that day, my entrepreneur spirit sort of start. And then now, of course, I closed a restaurant a few years ago because I want to start a family and have more flexibility. And as you can see now,
Yes.
it's still La Do Do.
Yes.
And now what I do is I manufacture like cooking sauces. So when I first started out, when I was made redundant from my job in IT, I started out small. I started a business with £100. Can you believe it? Of course, not a restaurant for £100.
I believe it because it's possible.
It is. People go, oh, but don't you need like a lot of money to start a business? No. Yeah, you agree. You don't. Yeah. It's all you need is an idea and put that idea into work. So,
and you know what? And something else, the power to create a relation.
Yes, yeah.
You need to have the positive attitude to create great relation, to build a relation.
Yes, yeah.
You don't need money to have to start a business, to grow your business, because if you are kind of person and you are kind and you know how to put a question, how to create your business relation, people help.
Yes, yeah.
This I learned a lot.
It is. It's more about putting the idea out there. So for me, I put the idea out there from a young age. I tell all my friends, one day I'm going to have my own restaurant. One day. So when I first started out, I don't have the money to start a restaurant. A restaurant is like quite expensive. So what I did with my £100 is that I go to people's houses to teach them how to make Vietnamese food at home. And then I have a few cooking classes, like I organize cooking classes that people come and I will teach them how to make certain dishes. And then from then I attract an investor and I attract my business partner as well. So that is all come together. And then I opened the restaurant, run it for 7 years, and then, learn from all the experience of cooking. Of course, cooking in the restaurant is quite different. That I have to actually use my corporate experience of project management. So I run it like a project. Everything have its place. So I have to look at the different process, reverse engineer everything, not like cooking at home. I need to actually push out 10, 20 different dishes in 15 minutes. Or not me, but all the chef. Yeah. So I have to look at the process behind it, break it up bit by bit. And then because from that experience, I came up with this range of sauce as well. So it's actually going back after more than 10 years, I kind of go back into the home environment, learn everything that I can from the restaurant business, and being able to put that into this small little bottle to help people cook at home again.
Great name. From where coming this name?
Okay, yes. Well, it's called La Do Do.
Yeah.
La in Vietnamese means leaf, and Do Do is papaya. So it's papaya leaf. And a lot of time people ask me, well, why? What's the reason behind it? And I'm actually quite a business person. So the first thing I do is I want to have a name that means something to me. Just like when you ask me, what does it mean? Mm-hmm. So it got a meaning behind it. But I also want a name that's easy for people to remember. Mm-hmm. So what I did is actually before I actually register for the business and create all my branding and everything behind it, I go on the internet. I put in every single name I can think of. And then ladudu.com was available. So I'm like, that's it. That's the name. And then that's where I started. And then sort of build all the branding and everything behind it. The restaurant was also named La Do Do. So now I move on from the restaurant, but I retain the brand because I quite like it. It's got a bit of a ring to it.
And it's easy people to remember the name, and I'm sure it's very tasty.
Yes, and I keep on telling people, if you don't remember the name, just try and sing it. It's like la la la, do do do, la do do.
What make you to stand out of the crowd? Because you come in a new country. London is great city, but busy, full of businesses. How you manage to stay out?
I think to stay out of the crowd, it's I've learned it from a lot of people telling me it's all about personal branding. So whether people remember the Ladudu brand or not, it's more about me. People want to actually know the person behind the brand. So I've been taught to, do more self-branding, and this is actually to stand out exactly what we're doing here, to have like interview, to have write a book. I'm also quite a passionate public speaker as well. I like being on stage. I like to talk to people. So I think one way to stand out is just, like I said, for an idea to come together, we need to actually just go out there and tell people what it is. Just talk to people, just get to create as much awareness as possible, but at the same time work on our personal growth. It's like the company cannot grow if we are not growing ourselves. So I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to talk to people and try to grow as much as I can every single day.
From where you take your inspiration day by day for your business, for your life, your energy?
Yeah.
From where?
Well, it's from the inside. One other thing I talk about in my book is actually when I start the business, I did take a big dip. Like a lot of people, we're going through this like different growth state, and I basically hit a brick wall. I'm like, okay, my dream is to have a restaurant. I now have a restaurant. What's next? I felt a bit lost after a while, and then that's when I actually look into the study of leadership. I need to actually find that energy within me to inspire the team, to inspire everyone around me, but most importantly, to inspire myself. So I look into the study of leadership. One of the book I came across is from Simon Sinek's the Start With Why, and so look into that. But then after a while, through the study of leadership, I go a bit beyond that. So in my book, I extend that to the model of why me. So the before why, we all have different energy inside of us. It's like the yin and the yang. We have to embrace both, positive and negative. Yes. So a lot of time, if I'm feeling down, it's okay. I'm allowed to be sad. We all allowed to be sad. Yes. But after a while, we need to actually tap back into our positive emotions. So I call that my secret recipe, which is called SIPI, Core Inner Positive Energy. So that's always, I need to tap into that. It's like whenever I'm feeling sad, I go for a walk, calm myself down, and then I will go, okay, now I feel more positive. Now I need to actually go, okay, that's when the idea popped up, like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then that's when I sort of nurture my why. And then the M and the me is like the mindset and our emotions. So our mindset sort of help our why, and our emotion help us to have a smile on our face, and how that affecting our communication to the outside world as well. So for me, it all starts from the inside.
How do you generate new ideas for your business?
Yeah, well, whenever I go for a walk in nature, it's kind of just too popped up. But like for business in general, like a lot of time there are issues that I have to deal with, especially when it's really stressed out. I do like to go for a walk, spend some time on my own, and then the idea to solve certain issue will pop up. But in general, for example, if I want to start like a new sauce, that's a new idea. So I thought, okay, start a new sauce, a new range. But how do I get that idea to become a physical product and into the shelf? The only way is to test it out. So I will start mixing it. If it doesn't quite taste right, try it, add a bit more, try different things, try different components. And then after that, give it to other people. Okay, can you try this out? Can you test this out? And then eventually, like the idea will take the transition to become the product that I want it to be. So I think it's all about applying that idea.
How long do you stick with an idea before you let her down? Because sometimes happen something is not right in our head.
We have
don't have the connection, all the connection. And personally, for me, I need to take many months to drop an idea. Is something to be very, very. I need something very strong to let one small idea or big idea to let it down to convince me. But in your case.
Well, you mentioned big ideas.
Yeah.
Of course, it's big idea take time to work on because we have so many different ideas every single day.
Yeah.
But with the big idea, I would say I normally will give it some time to look at it from all different angles. If I can test out the idea, I would test it out the idea. And that would take like, I don't know, ranging from 3 months, 6 months to even a year. For me to actually release one of the sauce, you know, it takes me a while to turn that idea into a recipe. And from that recipe, I need to actually take that to the manufacturer, test out the production process in a factory environment, and then test that out into the consumer. So it will take a long time. That will take about a couple of months to even a year. But of course, if it doesn't work, for example, if I bring one of these sauces to the market and it doesn't sell, it doesn't work, then of course we can measure that. Say, okay, perhaps look at the cost and the benefit, and we have to weight it up. And if it's not worth it, if it's not a viable business idea, then of course we have to drop it. Yeah.
How many types of sauces you have?
Well, I've been doing this for about just over 2 years, and I only have 3 different types of sauce at the moment. The one is like a marinade, a concentrate marinade style, and then this is like a chili lemongrass vegan. It's a vegan chili lemongrass, and then this one is also chili lemongrass with shrimp. It's a very versatile product. These two, you can use
all the tests.
Yes, I mean, I can combine these 3 products together, and I can come up with like more than 10 different ways of using it. But then, like with this one, I can use it as like a chili oil. You can add to stir fry to a lot of different things. This can be used on like tofu. It can be used on like meat or seafood. So I'm still like every single day, I'm still thinking. Like an idea popped up. Oh, why can't I do it this way? And then I'll go in the kitchen, mix it up, and go, oh, that's worked really well. I'll write out the recipe and I will just share with people. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not a good idea.
If I can't eat it,
it doesn't taste good. The combination is not quite right. Then I will change it.
I recognize your story inspired me. Your courage inspired me. You are a very powerful woman. But in some way, you talk about yin and yang, we have weakness. Tell me about yours.
Okay.
If it's possible.
I think we all have weaknesses. It's one way for us to improve ourselves. It's actually to be aware of our weaknesses. Of course, I always like to work to my strength, but be aware of it. I think one of my biggest weaknesses, other people don't believe so, but I think it is that I can be a little bit gullible sometimes. I always give people too many chances. And I always see the good in people. So I give them a lot of chances. But then sometimes there are certain type of people.
You think your journey makes you like that? Or you have this kind of kindness in your DNA?
I like to think that I have this kind of kindness in my DNA, but to be honest, I think it's mostly my journey because I sort of been through like a lot of different environments. Yeah. For example, when I first came to London, I didn't know anyone, I didn't have a job, so whenever someone coming from similar background, I sympathize with them. And this is actually, for example, some of the staff who worked for my restaurant previously. So they come to London on have visa issues or don't know anyone and have cash problems. So I normally lend money to them or helping them out. And some, of course, will thank me and be very grateful for it. And some, not so much. And of course, I always trying to help people. But when the people when you help people and they turn around and they're like trying to do something silly. something stupid, and you're like, why did I even trust this person from the first place? And that can be a bit painful, but
you can't change yourself.
You can't. We can change ourselves, but we can't change other people.
Yeah.
So there are people I try to help and help and help, but they wouldn't change their way, and then I feel disappointed. But then now that's why one of my weaknesses, like I give people so many chances. Sometimes my husband goes, why are you giving them like so many chances? Haven't you learned? And I'm like, but still, you know,
something
I see the
there
goodness in them.
in the past. I recognize the part. And I'm same like you. I'm very sensitive on this kind of situation, and sometimes happen people disappointed, but it's don't disappoint these people. I believe the story behind this point. You think and I'm sure you know, in business you have many frustration and stress. How you handle this situation when you are frustrated, when you meet stress? How you handle?
Just breathe.
Breathe.
One of the things sometimes, you know, like look when we really stressed
You
out.
don't scream? You don't shut the door?
Oh no, I do. It's like there are times where I just want, I wish I have a punch bag in the office. I can just punch the hell out of it. But a lot of the time, it's like when we're under a lot of stress or worrying so much about the future, it's like one of the things I've learned is we just need to take ourselves back to the present and just breathe. So I've learned how to just do like deep breathing, and if that doesn't work, I go outside, I take some fresh air, go for a walk, enjoying nature, and then keep on breathing, and eventually we'll sort of see the problem from a different perspective, and solve it that way. But actually, also in one of my books, I also talk about that as well. I believe that there are 3 stages that we're all going through, and this is how leaders inspire as well, by being, knowing, and doing. Yeah. So sometimes if we actually get so stressed out and lose sight of what we working toward, then we need to actually go back to the being state. That's why being means like sit down, meditate, breathe, go for a walk, whatever it is that we need to do. And from that stage, we'll automatically get into the knowing bit. Something in our heads have popped up, new ideas, new solutions, and that's when we actually need to actually take advantage of that stage, doing some more research, get to know what we need to do, and then when we know what we need to do, we have trust in ourselves to do it, and then of course the doing bit. But it's like a circle for me. Like being, knowing, and doing is like every single day going through the whole circle, the loop, like the yin and the yang.
Before our interview today, we talk a lot about books and your book, and I find in your library this book.
Yes, yeah.
And can you repeat what you say? Because you tell me it's the best book who inspire you.
Yes, I mean, like with this book, it's like it's got so much wisdom in it. It's based on a translation by Thomas Cleary, and it's actually based on a lot of the Chinese philosophy for thousands of years. So whenever I'm feeling stress or anything, or feeling a bit lost, I need to bring myself back in to center myself. I always just close my eye, open a page, and just read at one of
It's like a dictionary of wisdom.
Yes, it's just so full of wisdom. So this is actually one of my favorite books, because it's like every single time, just close my eye, open a page, and there's something new. And look, I just opened, it's on peace.
And you look like you have plenty of peace.
Yes, yeah.
Great. You had the restaurant. You create teams. What is your way of hunting talents and effective teams, to create effective teams? How you manage to create a team there? Because it's very difficult, especially with food, where everything is not so precise, and
Yeah.
you work under stress there in the kitchen.
It was hard at first, to be honest. I have over 30 staff in the restaurants, and ranging from the chef, ranging from someone washing the dish to restaurant manager. There's all different personality, everyone's all different. The one thing is like how to bring people together, like to create that team spirit. And one of the things that I've learned is that I just have to listen to them, and because like as the owner, they look up to me as like the boss. And the way I look at it is like I said, I'm not the boss, but I'm here to listen, and my job is to inspire them to do the right thing, to inspire them to do the best that they can. And then sometimes, like it's almost like being like the mother as well, because I do have some very young staff, very inexperienced, don't really know. So in a way, I kind of had to nurture them. I remember one of my staff one day, she was serving in the restaurant, and one of the customer basically told her off about something, and then she just ran into the office all crying, and she's like, Teresa, I want to quit. I don't want to serve this customer anymore. And I have to like sit her down, like play like the mother role, and ask her, so what's wrong? What happened? And just give her some time to calm down. And then eventually she's okay. She came back, carry on serving the customer. And then she came back to me and said, oh, thank you so much for that. I was just under a lot of stress, and they were just like telling me off, and I just don't know what to do. And so thank you for the talk. And I'm like, oh, wow, I feel really good. Yeah, just to see her making that transition, and then being able to go back out there, carry on with the job, and then come back and feel really, really proud of herself. So for me, in terms of looking at the talents and building a team, it's, of course, experience helps, but at the same time, I believe in people. But this is like, some people say that's my weakness, but I'm like, no, I believe that could also be my strengths as well. I believe in people, I give them second chances, and I believe everyone have the ability to grow and to see what they're capable of. And when we actually give people that opportunity to grow and develop themselves, then they will actually contribute back and do a lot more than we ask them to do. Yeah,
I see that in my experience. If you listen more and you give less instruction, and you listen your team, they hear very well the customer voice.
Yes.
And if you hear that voice, if you listen your team, your business grow and your team grow. Tell me about in your journey like entrepreneurs. Tell me some of your aha. What was the big aha in your life, in your journey, in this journey?
Okay. I think for me, the biggest aha moment, I have aha moment all the time.
Yes.
but I'm just having difficult thinking of the biggest aha moment. I think for me, it's like more about, like the success behind it. Sometimes, when I look back with all my journey and everything that I've been through, the one thing is that I always said to myself, as long as I'm happy doing it, that's the right thing to do. So every single time when I do something, it's like, I always ask the question, am I happy? And I'm like, yes, I'm happy, then I'll carry on doing it. And so of course, I feel like very fortunate to be in this position at the moment, being a young mother. My daughter is like 3 months old, and I can still carry on doing what I do. I want to be one of those mother who have the time to spend with their kids, but at the same time, I don't want to lose my mind. That's why I say the reason why I left corporate, because I want to have the flexibility in my work. And being able to not just go on maternity leave and then come back like 6 months or a year later, feeling the guilt of having to leave my daughter behind. But for me, it's like now the biggest aha is seeing a plan come true and being able to sit here with you doing this interview, but at the same time, I work on the business and being able to spend time with my daughter as well. So I ask myself, am I happy? And the answer, of course, is yes. So every single time, if I ask myself, am I happy doing this? And the answer is yes, and have a smile on my face, that is the aha.
You smile all the time. How do you define success?
Like I mentioned before, to me, success is happiness. A lot of the time, you go to all these different events and people ask, oh, do you want more time and more money? And, initially I always put my hand up, I want more time, more money. But then after a while, when I look at success a lot closer, it's not really about more time or more money. Mm-hmm. It's more about what you do with it.
Money and time.
Yeah.
They are unhappy.
Yes. So to me, success is more about doing what we love and being happy. Yeah.
The balance.
And no matter how much money in the bank or anything, as long as we're happy. Some people have a load of money in the bank account and then they retire. They have a lot of time, but were they happy? Some of them might not be. So to me,
lots of them.
The way I define success is that doing what we love, have the money, perhaps contribute more to society, do more charitable work, helping other people, but being happy doing what we do is the ultimate success.
How do you identify your business opportunities?
Just sometimes the idea pop in my head and I kind of explore with it, experiment with it. But other time, I do have to look for opportunity, look in the market. What are the gap? What some of the gap that I can fill? And this actually also one of the reasons why I make that transition between the restaurant into sauce manufacturing. By looking ahead, there's always 5 different factors that I looked at. This is very business 101. Yeah. We look at economic, political, environmental, technological. So all these different factors. So when I look into expanding the restaurant, I do all this different research and I'm like, whoa, the market doesn't look so good. It's not a good time to expand. And I was right, in the last year or two, every single time I look at the news, it's like another restaurant going under. Retail business, hospitality suffering really bad. And of course, I'm doing a lot of consulting work for some of the restaurant as well. My husband is doing the software business for the restaurant. He wrote a software that we use in our business. So this is when you see opportunity. I say that to look for opportunity, we have to look within an opportunity. So when my dream was to open a restaurant, so I opened a restaurant, and then after a while, I bought a software that do the job, but didn't quite do everything I wanted to do. So I asked my husband to design a software for us.
Lucky you.
So he's not a programmer, so he went and educated himself. He wrote a software for a point of sale system for us to use in the restaurant. And then after, we use it for a number of years. When we closed the restaurant, he carried on selling that software to other restaurants to use. And we go into consulting work for other restaurants as well. So that's one opportunity that we saw. And then the other opportunity is getting all the experience from the restaurant, I go into the sauce business. So sometime when we actually need to go for the next opportunity, although a business might be in a position to expand, but we can do all the research and go, not a good time to expand. Mm-hmm. But because of the research, we see other opportunity. So now, from one restaurant, I have 2 business. My husband has his own company, software company, and I have my own sauce.
That means you make a great team with your husband, no?
Yes, yeah.
And your life and your business, great. How would you like to schedule your advantage and disadvantage in your business?
I think, as an entrepreneur, there's the advantage and disadvantage. Sometimes it's the same thing to me. It's like the flexibility of working. So, of course, like I want to have a business and I want to have the flexible of working, but sometimes we end up working all the time.
There's 40 hours per day will be great to have.
Yeah, so that's the advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage. It's like, but working weekend, working like
from holiday sometimes.
Holiday, when I'm sitting on the beach enjoying like beautiful, relaxing time, and then an idea pop in my head.
You need to write down because
and then I have to get a book out and then start writing everything down. So it's you understand, it's the best. It's having that flexibility, but having the flexibility to make our own call. So it's good, it's bad, depending on how we look at it. But
if we think about entrepreneurial life, what was your sacrifice? What you did, what you make to be successful?
It's
because sometimes we
my social
things.
life is non-existent.
Okay.
Well, not so much now. Now I'm actually not so bad. But I remember in the first year of me running the restaurant, I'm working like 100 hours plus a week, and whenever any of my friends go, "Hey, you want to come out for this or that?" I'm like, no. I barely have time to sleep. So I think that's some of the sacrifice that we need to actually understand. People need to understand. The first year being in business is very difficult. And if people think that, business is easy, the first few years, say goodbye to social life. Say goodbye to, 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
And
the first few years you discover another version of yourself.
Yes.
If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your dream, if you don't work hard like you say many hours per week, and you don't have the power to say no to other things around you, like birthday party, Christmas party, or others, and work on your dreams, you lose the time, and that is kind of sacrifice, no, for few years.
I can't remember the saying, but something like this. It's like you work hard for a few years and then enjoy the rest of your life.
Yes, it's kind of.
I can't remember the exact saying, but something like that. So that is the sort of sacrifice entrepreneur need to make to being able to say, I'm gonna be 100% dedicated to my business, to work on this idea for at least a year, 2 years, whatever it is. There have to be a time frame. So for me, when I go into business, I actually gave myself a time frame. I said to myself, I understand restaurant business is very difficult and 9 out of 10 fail. So I said to myself, this is my time frame. First year, work really, really hard. Like, give everything that I have to get it going. By the third year, it needs to be at a certain certain level.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, I give myself 5 years in there. After 5 years, I need to reevaluate, to expand, to get out, what to do. So every single, like when I first start my entrepreneur journey, I already think about my exit plan. People say, don't do that, why are you working on plan B?
It's very healthy to think for exit and the second plan, to have all the time options.
It is, because when we're actually thinking about, okay, this is why I'm in this game. It's like a game, like a business, an entrepreneur mindset is like playing a game. What point do I want to get out of this game? And by thinking that way, we ask ourselves, well, this is my time frame. It makes us think. It's like, what do I want to get out of it? So So if we want something out of it, like financial freedom or whatever it is, then it's like a goal we're working towards. So we have to have that end goal in order to actually being able to have that working on a vision to get there. And of course, sometimes when we get there, we're like, okay, I don't want to get out yet. Let's carry on.
Let's experience more.
Yes.
We have fears. Let's talk about your fear and how you manage to walk between them.
I think when we look at fear, the way I define fear, there's two. One is a biological fear, and one is a mental, like sort of like a mental mindset, anxiety. So let me share with you a secret. One of my biological fear, I really, really don't like caterpillar. I remember one day, this is when I was young, my parents have a plantation in Vietnam. And of course, in a plantation, there's like a lot of different crawly things. My sisters was chasing me with this caterpillar. And I don't know what happened to me. There was like a little a waterway, quite big. I managed to run and jump over that. I don't know how I did it. I couldn't come back. But that is the biological fear. It's something that just there. Some people are scared of spiders. Some people are scared of different things. Me, I don't like those little crawly things.
Okay, it's good to remember next time.
But then if we
caterpillar.
Please don't chase me with one. I'm still scared. Every now and then when I cook and I clean some vegetable and I scream, my husband knows why. And some people go, oh, but I can help you doing some NLP to get rid of it. And I'm like, no, it's actually nice to have something like, to scare me
I'm
off.
happy with my fear.
Yeah. But then when we're talking about other fear where a lot of people things like the anxiety, the mental, and like something scared of the unknown. Something, if we don't know something, we're like scared of taking that steps. Like in business, if we actually don't know what the next steps is, we're a bit scared of like, oh, do I like take the risk and do it?
Especially when many steps don't depend on us, because when you work with customer, with clients, you take your steps, but you need to receive the other actions, and this come with some kind of anxiety and fear. What happened next?
Yeah, well, I think with that sort of fear, it's all come to how we deal with it, because we can actually turn that fear into opportunities, and we can turn that fear into developing our courage to take action, and action taker, to look at that. And the way I would deal with that sort of fear is to find out, like if we don't know something and we're scared of it, like thinking too much about the future will only give us anxiety, but just to find out a little bit more, being able to know what to do next, kind of like eliminate that fear. And then over time, the more we do that sort of thing, the more we train our mind to not think of it as a fear, but to think of it as an opportunity. But how do we convert that in the fear into an opportunity? It will take time to develop the right mindset, to use that and turn it around. And the more we do it, the more we have the confidence in ourselves. And every single time, like something that a bit unsettling coming, like a massive idea that scares us, it's like, then we have to go, okay, it's a scary thought, but what can I do to build the step to get there, to eliminate that fear and being able to turn that into an opportunity.
And to make some option in case you receive a no.
Yeah.
I have so many questions for you, Teresa. It's great to have you in our talk show, but I will try to go to the end of our interview. Yeah, you think our beliefs push or make our business unsuccessful?
Yes, it's actually, a lot of time, whatever coming out of our mouth through our communication, written, whatever it is, is a deep-rooted belief that whether we can do something or we can't do something. Like I said, inside of us, there's always two things. There's always the little chatterbox in our head to say that you can't do it, you can't do it. But the more we pay attention to that, the stronger it will get. So for me, sometimes, I have that chatterbox. We all have that chatterbox. Whenever we have an idea or something to say, okay, I want to do this, the little box at the back says, no, you can't. No, you don't have the money. You don't have the experience. You don't have this. You don't have that. But then, I like to actually talk to that chatterbox. So the way I will overcome this is to think it's like a conversation. Something negative come out, so, oh, you can't do it. I'll ask, like, why not? Or like, oh, you don't have the experience. Like, oh, I don't have the experience, but it's a great opportunity to learn.
Startup. You don't have the power. You don't have the knowledge to go forward. We have many beliefs, especially about money, about business, about entrepreneurial
But
life.
we have the power to change that belief, right?
Yes.
No one else. It's like, especially if, I can be quite stubborn sometimes. And when people ask me, like, oh, like they're trying to challenge certain thing, I can be quite stubborn. But then at the same time, we have to listen to ourselves, because no one else can change our mind, can change the way we see things as fast as us changing our own mind, changing the way we see things, and changing that deep belief within ourselves that we can do a lot more than that little negative chatterbox is giving us.
Teresa, the last two questions. If you have the opportunity to meet you in the young version, what will be your advice for yourself? Like 20 years ago?
20 years ago.
Or
Yes.
10 years ago?
Well, actually, if I meet my younger self, say,
have a cup of tea. What did you like to say to you?
I would just say, yes, just when I was young, I do care a lot about more about what other people think. I think we all do. In our younger self, we care a lot more about how we look, what other people say about us. So I would say to my younger self, don't worry, just ignore what everyone's opinion about you. Don't worry so much about your appearance. You are just as beautiful as you are.
You are. You are.
Don't have that self-esteem. You're gonna be great, and just follow your heart and do whatever that you need to do.
Great.
You will turn out well. I know you would.
You are.
So that is something I would say to my younger self. Just the same thing as I would say to my daughter as well. It's like, we all have our own time frame. Everyone, like, oh, I want to be successful. I want to have this and this by a certain age. We all have our own time frame. Just relax. Enjoy life as a journey, not the end goal.
And don't stress yourself, because when you stress yourself, you don't see the real opportunity. You don't find the real opportunities. You don't have the ability to. You rush this kind of building relationship with people, and you fall down.
Yes.
And, in some point, you strong the idea. You are weak. You are not ready. And it's great advice.
We all learn from our mistakes. So I would say to my daughter as well, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because we learn from it. It's the experience that defines who we are, not what other people say about us. I truly believe that to build ourselves up, we need to actually learn from our mistakes and build that experience level by level. And I still have plenty of level to build, but I will get there.
You are happy now.
Yes.
And the last question. If you have the ability to have a stick and a power to change some things around you and in this world. Tell me about 3.
Okay. So something that I want to change about myself.
About your business?
About my business. Okay.
Will you decide?
Yeah. Well, if I have, like you said, if I have the power to go back in time and change something, it's like cheating.
Yeah.
Like doing a time travel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would be
So
great.
if I have the power to go back and change something, I would say that I probably would like to start my business earlier and being able to grow a lot faster at the beginning. Yep. And but ultimately, I'm actually quite happy where I am at the moment. I'm still youngish. There's still a lot to do, and sometimes there's no point looking back. I don't believe in having regrets in life. So whatever it is that we do, whatever mistakes or anything, failures, anything, we just have to accept it and then move on from it. So I don't know. I think if I have to change anything, I like to start my business earlier instead of waiting. I work in corporate for like a long time. Those skills were very useful. Mm-hmm. But if I started my business like 5-10 years earlier, then I would be in a much better position now.
You think this is another good advice for a startup, for young people who want to start a business. You encourage them to start a business early. You think the age it's a great factor to grow and to be successful in time, or when you have another age like 30 and you start a business, you need to make more faster the steps?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think age is a factor. There are so many millionaires out there, like teenagers or even kids. Yes. They are millionaire. Yeah. So age is not a factor. But I do believe that sometimes we don't have to give up so much in life to build wealth, and it just the age actually comes with wisdom as well, and understanding. So there are people who might be rich and build an empire by a certain young age, but then they actually lost that experience of having fun. And perhaps maybe they are the one who want to go back and change things. But then there's also, for me especially, I knew that I want to see the world. That's why I say I might start my business earlier, but then sometimes I'm like, but then not starting the business earlier gave me the opportunity to travel, to see the world, to do so much more. So that's why I say we all have our own time frame, and whatever we do with it got nothing to do with age. Young people can start a business. For those people who actually don't have a lot of money, it's the same thing. It's more about if we really want to do something, we'll find a way. Whether to have a full-time job and start the business on the side, that can be done these days as well. So whatever it is that we want to do, it's just a matter of finding the time, priority the time, and just do it.
And trust in your gut.
Yes.
Because it's very important. If you don't trust in yourself and in your power, you can do nothing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for your great time and for this great opportunity to have you on our talk show. And I wish you
much for having me.
Lots of success with Ladudu, and I really want to take some experience.
No, you will have. And then let me know how with your cooking.
I'll let you know. Thank you so much, Teresa.
Thank you so much, Gabby.